Alright. Hail and welcome everyone to this week's episode of Midgard Musings. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching this week. Really appreciate your support. My name is Jesse, and if this is your first time watching, thank you so much. I am the host here on this channel every week. This channel is designed to sort of share some of my knowledge and things that I learn about Norse heathenry, various subjects that may come across in my sites, if you will, or things I want to share. We do have a series that I run here on this channel of deity discussions, which is all going to be in a playlist. If you go to the channel area and look at playlists, you'll see deity discussions. Check out those videos. There's also some discussion of the Havamal that we've done over the last earlier parts of this year. But anyways, it's a once a week video that I upload here on this channel, usually on Sunday nights, and it quite often will accompany a live Facebook discussion on the Facebook page, which if you go down into the description of the video, you will see all that information down there. So please check that out if you want to become a part of that. And this week, actually, is going to hopefully start a new series of a new sort of storytelling type of thing. So I haven't quite decided yet what the series will be called, and I'm actually calling on everyone here who watches and who's subscribed to the channel and who's following on Facebook and everyone else. If you have an idea of what this series should be called, leave a comment down in the comment section. I've had a couple of suggestions already call it Skaldic Sundays, or Skald Sundays, or the Nordic Bard. Basically, it's going to be a series wherein I throw my own twist, or I add my own little flair to some of the Skaldic poems or some of the stories of the Eddic nature. Some of the, right tonight we're going to be talking about one particular poem, my favorite poem from the Poetic Edda, called Thrymskvida. This is the story of how Thor lost his hammer and then later reacquired it. So if you have an idea of what this series should be called, or what you would like it to be called, or an idea of it, drop it down in the comment section. I'll mull the idea over, and then hopefully going forward this will be some sort of continuation of things, because there's so many stories out there that have been told, and I just want to toss my own little flair on it. Alright, so again, this today is going to be the story of the stealing or the losing of Thor's hammer, called Thrymskvida. So it's Thrym's story, Thrym's poem. And at the time that I'm recording this, it's not a live video, right? Because it's the Thanksgiving weekend here in the United States, and I'm going to be leaving at the time of this recording. Anyway, it's Wednesday night. I'm going to be leaving out of state to visit some family and stuff for the holidays. So by the time this video gets seen by the public, I will be out of state. So thank you again so much for watching. Please be sure to click the subscribe button down in the bottom of this video, and once you do that, make sure that bell notifications are enabled, so that way you are notified every time I upload new content. Would really appreciate that. So I've already got my candle lit, and the stage is set. And here is my little rendition, or my twist, on Thrymskvida. So as the story goes, Thor, the protector of Midgard, wakes up one morning. Now, he'd been out all night. He'd been out all night and the day before, doing his Thorly duties, if you will. He'd been out defending Midgard from the Jotuns. He'd been out, doing his thing with Mjolinir, protecting the realms from the onslaughts of the Jotuns. He came back the night before, and he's like, whew. It's Friday night, guys. It's been a rough one. Pour me a drink. Had himself a few beers, some mead from Odin's Hall. Had himself a real good time. Partied on like Thor does, and he passed out. So anyways, he wakes up the next day. Head's a little bit foggy, right? He's feeling a little bit hungover. Reaches over to his nightstand to pick up Mjolnir to start his day. And it's gone. Well, guess what, guys? When Mjolnir's missing, everything shuts down. It's like the line has got a kink in it. If you've worked in a warehouse and if there's a problem in the line somewhere, guess what? If there's a problem in the line down the line and you're working this part of the line, if there's a problem down here, line gets shut down. So guess what? Thor is furious. Wakes up Sif, his wife laying there in the bed, just pounds down on the ground and he's like, what in Loki's name has happened? Mjolnir is gone. He's having a freaking come apart, guys. He's like, you know what? All right, maybe I'm just a bit hungover from all the meat and from all the beer. It was some really good beer. Let me just go out. So he washes his, throws some water on his hair, throws some water in his beard, splashes his face. He's trying to get himself acclimated, get his bearings straight, all this stuff. Comes back into the room. Sif is going, Thor, you okay? And he's like, no, honey, I'm not okay because Mjolnir is gone. I can't find it. She's like, well, it was here when you got here last night. You laid it on your nightstand. He's like, yeah, I know. And it's not here anymore. So, first thing happens that when he realizes that it's nowhere near, he just, Loki! And of course, guess who's skulking around outside the bedchamber is Loki himself. So he kind of stumbles in. He goes, hey, good morning, Thor. Rough night last night with all the meat and the beer and everything. Thor says, never mind all that, Loki. We have a problem. Not just a problem for me, but a problem for everyone here in Asgard and all the humans down in Midgard. Mjolnir has been stolen. Loki says, oh, wow. That is a bit of a problem. Hold on. I'm gonna help you here, okay? Just chill. Just hang on. Loki takes off, finds Freya. It says, Freya, morning, hun. Thor's having a bit of a bad day. Seems to have lost his hammer. I don't know how you lose a hammer. Anyways, could I borrow your falcon feather cape thing? I need to take a quick exodus real quick. I need to go find out some things. She's like, well, look, if it's about Thor's hammer, we're kind of in a bind here, so yeah, you can have it. You can borrow it. All right, cool. So Loki takes off, and he flies. He takes form as a falcon, and he flies. And he takes off to the realm of the giants, to Jotunheim. So as he approaches Jotunheim, in haste, he looks down and he sees a great big mound assembled right there at the heart of Jotunheim. And on that mound he sees a king of giants who he recognizes as Thrym. Now remember, Loki is part giant himself, so he recognizes Thrym and he says, well, this guy's probably going to know something about this. So Loki comes down, swoops in. Now Thrym is sitting there on his mound, being all the kingly self that he is. He's brushing his horse's manes, and he's playing with his dogs and his hounds, right? And he's making them look all good with golden chains, and he's making his horses look all good as he brushes them, right? Because it's important. It's important for the king of the giants to be recognized as very well-to-do, right? Very fashionable. Anyway, he looks up and he sees this falcon descending into Jotunheim, and he looks at it and he says, it's not just any normal falcon. I know a falcon when I see one. And he recognizes this as Loki. So as Loki descends and takes form as himself, Thrym just lays back and he goes, well, my friend Loki, long time no see. It's been a while, my friend. What are you here for? What do you come to tell me? You got some news about things going on in Asgard? You got some news about things going on with the elves and the dwarves and everybody else? I don't subscribe to the newspapers out here. Let me get some information about what's going on outside of Jotunheim, right? So Loki is a bit serious now, and he says, Thrym, I've come a long way, and I'm not about the formalities because we have got a situation. Thor's hammer's gone. Mjolnir's missing, and I think you may have something to do with it. Do you know where Thor's hammer is? So Thrym says, Maybe I do. Ah, who am I kidding? Of course I know where it is. I'm the one who stole it. I came into Thor's bedchamber last night. He was so wasted after fighting all of us Jotuns off the day before, coming back, I'm sure, drinking his body weight in ale and mead. Probably eating his body weight in pork and all that. He was passed out snoring like you wouldn't believe. Wouldn't even hear a mouse fart if it ripped one out really loud. I came in and I took that hammer from right off his nightstand. And I hid it 8 miles below the surface of this ground that you're standing. So Loki's goes, well, thank you for your honesty, but kind of presents a problem. To which Thrym replies, well, you know what? I really don't care. And if anyone in the 9 realms ever wishes to see Mjolinir again, I will need to have the hand of Freya as my bride. I am not budging on this. There's no, debate about it or anything. Loki, you can go back and you can tell Odin and all the other gods in Asgard. Those are my conditions. If Thor ever wishes to see his hammer again, and if anybody else wishes to see his hammer for that reason, I will have Freya as my bride. So Loki takes off back to Asgard. And as he comes back, Thor is still beside himself, right? He's looking everywhere. He's flipping tables. He's looking everywhere for it. He's thinking, well, what have I done with it? Here comes Loki. He goes, Loki! Before you even think about setting those pretty little feet on this ground and resting those weary wings, you better not even think about resting until you tell me some good news about what you've gone and done. Where is my hammer? So Loki's like, hey, man, I've gone to Jotunheim. I've talked to Thrym. And he's got your hammer, man. But you ain't going to like the conditions of which the return is, because he's demanding the hand of Freya as his bride before anyone on the 9 realms sees this hammer. And Thor's like, well, that's some good news. And he reaches up there and he grabs Loki and he says, we're going to talk to Freya. So they go and they find Freya and they say, Freya! Thor says, because he's beside himself. He's like, look, Freya, it's time that you got yourself all dolled up. Put on your best bridal garments. Do up your hair, put on the perfume, do your eyeliner, do that really cool wing thing, look on your eyes, pluck your eyebrows, do the eyeliner, lips, whatever, do the, the bodice, everything. You gotta look good because you, Freya, are about to become the wife of Jotun. So that way I can get my hammer back. Now, Freya's no pushover, right, guys? Freya looks at Thor, she goes, you think that's gonna happen? You think that because you got too drunk and you ate too much and you just passed out and you couldn't keep a track of a simple hammer, that I'm going to go and give my hand in marriage to this Jotun? Sorry, Thor, but that ain't happening. So now that there's a disagreement, we have to bring in all the gods. Everybody comes in, and there's this great big council, and everybody has to talk about things. Thor's like, look, this is my hammer. If you guys want Asgard protected, if you want me to do my job to protect Midgard, I need my hammer. Freya is being a little, whiny baby over here, and she's not a team player. Freya's like, I'm sorry, but it's not my problem that you lost your hammer. Well, here comes Heimdall, right? The watchman of the gods, the handsomest, the most beautiful of the gods. And he says, well, Thor, my proposition is that you yourself go to Jotunheim dressed as Freya. You could even wear her bright gold necklace that she is so easily recognized by. Put a veil over your face. They won't know. The Jotuns won't know. They're kind of, they're a little dents in the head, Just dress up as Freya and win your hammer back. Disguise yourself. Trick your way in. Well, Thor's not too easily amused by this, and he's like, you want me Thor, protector of Midgard, strongest of the gods, you want me to put on the garment of a bride? You want me to dress and look like a woman? What is everybody here in Asgard going to think of me? They're going to look at me like I'm a sissy or something. Heimdall's like, well, Freya's not going to do it. I'm not about to argue with her. Are you? What other options do we have here? Thor looks at Heimdall. Heimdall looks at Thor. Thor looks at Loki. Loki looks at Thor. They all look at Freya. Freya gives him a scowl. Loki says, well, Thor, I guess we're kind of at an impasse here. You either win your hammer back and dress up like Freya, or we all die because the Jotuns are going to come here and they're going to rule over Asgard. What are we going to do? So, much against Thor's better judgment, he says, you know what? Fine, let's do it. Let's get this over with. So, they put on Freya's gold necklace, that she is so easily recognized by, dresses Thor up in the most astounding bridal garments, and begins the process of sending him to Jotunheim. Before they leave, Thor says, I'm not going alone. I need a handmaid. If I'm going to be the bride, I need a bridesmaid. And Loki, you are going to be the bridesmaid. Well, this doesn't bother Loki too much because it's kind of what he does, right? He's a shapeshifter. He's not too upset about taking on that sort of role, right? Hey, everybody remember Sleipnir? So, they get onto Thor's chariot, harness his goats, and the beautiful bride Thor and his handmaiden Loki make off to Jotunheim. An 8-day journey. When they finally reach the gates of Jotunheim, Thrym is ecstatic. He says, here she comes, and he can see, because he can see the flowing veil and the beautiful trail of the gown that Thor's wearing, thinking it's Freya. Says, here she comes, it's Freya, she's coming to wed me. I'm finally got it. I've got all these things here in Jotunheim. I've got all these, this gold and this silver and this livestock and everything. Now the only thing I need is Freya, and here she comes. The ransom has been paid. Open the gates, start the feast. Let's go, let's party. So here they come. Freya, that's Thor, but everyone thinks it's Freya, enters the hall. A great feast has been laid out. Freya, as Thor, is seated, and a feast begins. Now Thor begins to eat, and he eats a whole entire oxen, and then he eats like 7, 8 salmon, drinks gallons of mead and ale, and Thrym is looking at his chariot. He's going, never have I seen a woman consume so much food and ale and mead at one time. This is incredible. So Loki, being the clever figure that he is, says to Thrym, well, Thrym, we have ridden 8 days without food or drink. The bride Freya is famished. She has to eat. She has to drink to gain nourishment for tonight's consummation. So Thrym is satisfied. So the more he sees the vigor of his bride, he says, I need to gain a little bit of something else from this. So he leans in and he reaches over and he lifts up the veil. And he leans in for a kiss. And he looks into the eyes of his soon-to-be bride. And he's taken aback, because the fire in the eyes of his soon-to-be bride are lit with a red crimson rage. And he says, oh, never have I seen such bright, fierce eyes in a bride. This is something I've never seen before. Well, Loki, being the clever individual that he is, he has the words that Thrym wants to hear, and he says, well, Lord Thrym, your bride has ridden for 8 days, waiting to meet you, and the fire in her eyes is so intense that she just cannot contain herself, and so therefore It is welling up deep inside her and is coming out in her eyes. And she cannot wait to consummate this union. Now, guys, at this point, Thrym's like, I'm getting lucky tonight. Bring the hammer. Let us consummate this marriage. Let us hallow this marriage. I want this marriage blessed, which is done by the hallowing with the hammer. Bring the hammer forth and lay it on the bride's lap. Well, here comes Mjolinir. Maybe not quite so plain and as simple as this, but Mjolinir is brought forth by the Jotuns and laid across the lap of the soon-to-be bride of Thrym. And as soon as the hammer lays across the lap of who Thrym believes to be as Freya, the fire in the eyes of Thor and the rage in his heart ignites. And he flips back the veil, and he wields the hammer high, and he strikes hard upon the skull of Thrym, and slays him on the spot in a mighty roar and laughter. This has now disrupted the entire hall, to which Thor replies, I'm not through yet. And he swings, and he thrashes, and he brings the hammer down on every Jotun in Thrym's hall, including Thrym's sister, who was there to collect the amount that was supposed to be brought, whether it be silver, gold, the dowry, if you will, for Freya. And Loki's just sitting back and he's going, well, you kind of had it coming, because you don't steal from Thor and not expect something like this to happen. So this is the story of how Thor won back his hammer through deception and through a little bit of humility and some humor, guys, because look, Thor, of all the gods of Asgard, is looked upon as being the most macho, the most masculine, the most bravest, the most fiercest. And guess what? He had to swallow that pride. He had to bite back that masculinity. And he had to take on the role of a bride to win back his hammer. Because why? He was a little bit too lackadaisical. It was stolen right out from under him. So there's lessons to be learned here, my friends. There's lessons to be learned. This was my twist on Thrymskvida. Now, I know I threw a whole lot of different things in here. I hope you guys enjoyed my take on this, which is my favorite story from the Poetic Ed. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it around, comment what you think, and let me know in the comments what you think this series should be called. Like I said earlier, I've tossed around some ideas from suggestions of friends of mine, calling it Skaldic Sundays, the Nordic Bard. If you have an idea of your own or want to vote one of those suggestions, I'll drop a comment down here and you just like the comment if you like that one better. And by the time this video is uploaded, or at least by the next time, or the next series of the video, the next video in this series is uploaded, we'll have a name for this series. So guys, I appreciate you listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I tried to make it as friendly family as possible. Let your kids know, gather them around. If this is something that you think they're going to enjoy, bring them around. Let's all get involved with this. I'm really looking forward to this part of the series. Down in the description, guys, this is really cool. I'm running a very special pricing on Midgard Musings apparel for t-shirts of men's, women's, children's, and toddlers' sizes. All different kinds of cool stuff, which are running a very special price on until December 15th for Yule. So that way you can place your order, get your items in before the Yule season kicks in, and get you guys all squared away at basically cost. I'm not making any kind of extra money on this. I feel a sneeze coming on. Trying not to sneeze. Very sorry. Couldn't fight it. Anyways, that's today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have had a wonderful, enjoyable Thanksgiving weekend, if that's the sort of thing that you do, tune in next Sunday for episode 4 of the deity discussion series, and we will be talking about the Allfather, the Yule Father, Odin. So thank you again all so much for watching. I appreciate your support. Please be sure that you're clicking on this floating Midgard Musings emblem that's appearing right here over my shoulder. Once you do, you are a subscriber. Once you've subscribed, make sure that you've clicked bell notifications. That way you're informed every time I upload new content. I'll see you all again in the next video. Thank you so much for your support. Hail.